My name is Veronica Fernandez, and I'm going to talk about securing blockchain with quantum safe cryptography. I would like to thank my co-authors, Amalia Rue and David Arroyo, and we belong to Spanish National Research Council in Madrid and the University Isabel I in Burgos. The blockchain was born to provide active trustworthiness verification, with the first successful implementation by Bitcoin in 2009 as a technical solution to overcome the economical dependency with banks. It is based on distributed ledger technology, which combines a cryptography layer, a peer-to-peer communication protocol, and a concrete collaboration scheme. In this work, we are going to focus on the cryptographic layer, and basic blockchains are based in hash functions and digital signatures. There's been a recurrent topic in security, which is the threat that quantum computing poses to certain algorithms or cryptographic schemes, and the blockchain is not an exception here. So the first consideration here would be to see what the threat that quantum computer poses to public key cryptography, since the blockchain is based partly in this type of cryptography. And this dates back to Shor's algorithm, proposed in the early 90s, and it's a quantum algorithm that decreases the time to factorize large numbers from an exponential to a polynomial time. So this directly impacts security of digital signatures. And some estimations by experts are that there's a 50% chance in breaking currently used cryptographic primitives such as RSA 2048 by 10 years. Also, there's a motive of concern that breaking these systems would mean retroactive access to information. So this is particularly concerning for information that must be secure for a long period of time, such as medical information, tax records, secrets, mergers and acquisitions, and national security information, which in many cases must be secure for more than 50 years. And what happens with symmetric cryptography? A genetic attack on ideal symmetric crypto systems was found a quadratic speedup by Grover in the early 90s, and this was thought to be solved by just increasing the key length, and it was a consensus that this would be enough to restore the security level. But recent work by Nigel Plasentia's team have shown that other types of algorithms, such as the Simon algorithm, which is the simplest period final quantum algorithm, has found an exponential speedup to crack certain modes of authentication and authenticated encryption, such as those based in MAX. So what are the effects on blockchains, Bitcoin and Ethereum? Well, the algorithms of Grover and Simon can decrease the computational cost to do the proof of work. And this means that certain nodes that have access to a quantum computer could perform certain attacks, such as the 51% attack. And also, Shor's algorithm has a more serious impact, since it can decrease the security of authentication and message integrity. So what can we do? Well, we could use quantum safe cryptography primitives, which are primitives that are safe against a quantum computer attack. So quantum safe solutions include, on one hand, physics-based solutions such as quantum cryptography, or more precisely quantum key distribution, which is a method that, using quantum principles, shares secret keys between users over an insecure channel. And the security is only based on information theory, and this is why they're called unconditional security. It's not conditioned to any computing power of an adversary. The implementation, however, requires dedicated channels that are usually optical fiber or satellite links. On the other hand, we have computer science-based solutions such as post-quantum cryptography. And in this case, the security is based on computational assumptions, such as that a quantum computer won't be able to solve the mathematical problems they are based on in reasonable times. And this is why this is called computational security. The implementation, on the other hand, requires only standard channels, so it's directly compatible with current networks. So quantum key distribution as a crypto primitive provides fresh and random cryptographic keys that are not dependent on any initial input state of the crypto system. And this is known as perfect forward secrecy, which means that when keys are compromised, they will not reveal any information of future or past traffic of the communications. QKD can be used with the algorithm one-time pad and provide unconditional secure encryption, and it can also be used with the Wegner-Carter algorithm to provide unconditional secure authentication. So we'll now talk about a hybrid approach of the blockchain using several quantum safe cryptographic primitives depending on the level of security required, following a crypto-agile design, which means that the system is flexible enough to accommodate several security challenges and readjust the security level accordingly. We have distinguished two scenarios that we're going to describe in the following. So this scenario 1 will provide enhanced security compared with current configurations and readily deployment. We will use post-quantum crypto primitives for authentication. So these are basically the version of current digital signatures but resistant to a quantum computer. We will use quantum key distribution plus asymmetric algorithm for encryption of sensitive information if this is required by the blockchain, which is not always the case. And since this is an asymmetric authentication scheme, it would accommodate a large number of users, so it could be fit to blockchains such as Bitcoin or Ethereum. The scenario 2 will provide unconditional security and requires special implementation. In this case, QKD can be used both for authentication and encryption processes by using the previously mentioned algorithms Wegner and Carter and one-time pad. As this is a symmetric scheme, pre-shared initial keys should be shared by all users that wish to communicate. And this, of course, to do this, we need a trusted third party. But we have to mention that the role of the trusted third party in this case is fundamentally different from a classical counterpart because the amount of information that it will have from users is much less. These initial pre-shared keys would get refreshed as soon as the quantum key distribution process starts engaging between users. So in that moment, from that moment on, this information would not be in the power of the trusted third party because it's completely independent from the initial pre-shared keys. And also, this trusted third party could use quantum physical and clonable functions, which use also quantum properties that are completely impossible to clone, and they have unconditional security too. Also, accountability to the cryptographic processes of key generation, management, and deletion should be introduced to audit all the life cycle of the keys. And since this is a symmetric scheme, it is really fit for smaller blockchains. So really hospitals or healthcare centers or not very large companies and defense and military applications, which usually do not have a high number of users, are really the ideal users of this type of blockchains. So we have provided general considerations for secure implementation of the blockchain when the universal quantum computers are deployed, identifying the main vulnerabilities that quantum computer encloses and what quantum safe and quantum safe primitives pave the way to configure a secure blockchain in the post-quantum era. We have transition to a progressive integration incorporating existing solutions such as those that are generated by QKD and post-quantum cryptography using crypto-agile schemes and including also control and audit mechanisms for monitoring life cycles of the keys. And finally, we believe that blockchain and hybrid quantum safe cryptography can and should be interleaved to achieve confidentiality, authentication, audit, and accountability in a post-quantum world. So I would like to thank our research funding agencies, and I would especially like to thank you for your time.